Hello and welcome back to the channel. Let's get started. This episode begins with cooking a steak for lunch. Then I head down to the parking lot to work on mechanical skills. If I can get to level 2 mechanics and level 1 electrical, I'll be able to hotwire vehicles. After a few hours of this, I go check on my garden but run into zombies. I walk them across the road to kill them, but one knocks me over. Luckily, I'm able to get to my feet and get some distance between them before beginning to fight again. Afterwards, I head back upstairs to read Metalworking and watch Life and Living. But the program doesn't end up coming on, so I cook a stir fry while admiring my stats. Then I grab some nails, garbage bags, and planks and build a rainwater catch outside. Then I build a compost bin in my garden. Then I work on thinning out the herds of zombies for a while. After a while, I have too many trailing me, so I lose them and loot a few houses. I get home in time for the 6 o'clock show, but unfortunately it doesn't air once again, so I'm pretty sure the free XP from that is now done with. I fill some buckets to add to the collection. These will come in handy once the water gets shut off. I'm going to place the duffel bags I find in this hallway. All this tape and glue will be used for weapon repairs. I'm just dumping all my electronics on the floor in this room until I get a storage crate made for them. And I'll be doing the same thing in this room with my guns and ammo. I then go outside to clear more of the zombies around my base. Before it gets too dark, I go loot a nearby restaurant named Mama McFudgington's. Once it gets dark, I go back to the base to cook and read to finish off the day. Since I'm really wanting to be able to hotwire vehicles, I get back on working on my mechanics skill first thing in the morning. Once I hit level 2 mechanics using the blue car, I hotwire the ambulance right next to it. I take it to the gas station to fuel up since it's low on fuel, and on the way back I grab 2 generators from garages. I drop the generator that I plan to wire up just outside my base and bring the other one back up to the gas station. This one will allow me to continue using the gas pumps after the power goes out. I use my gas can to put some fuel in a cube van, then I top it up at the pumps and take it to go do some looting. As I loot the houses, I check them off on my map. I loot a pile of items including guns, generator, barbecue, welding helmet, and even a basketball. Before it gets too dark out, I'll head back home. Unfortunately, I get my cube van caught up on a park bench, but I managed to get freed up before the zombies closed in. I back the van into the garage and begin unloading my loot. I cover the remainder of the windows of my base, and then luckily I remember to change my dirty bandage. After making myself a salad, I read a comic book to get rid of my boredom moodle. Then I do some more cooking while admiring the progress I've made with my stats. I head downstairs and empty these cardboard boxes to take back upstairs to store stuff in. Early the next morning, I go to the gas station just south of my base to loot some food. While there, I go next door and loot the bus station, but find nothing of interest, so I decide to also loot one of the houses close by. I find food and a barbecue at this house, and since I have plenty of room, I loot another house and find some gas cans. On my way home, I fill the gas cans, then empty all the loot at the base. My bookcase is already full, so I begin storing magazines on the ground. The next morning, while looting some nearby houses, I noticed the power goes out, so I head back home and got my generator going. This will prevent the food in the fridge from going bad. After that's complete, I walk up Main Street, grab my ambulance, and take it to go loot some warehouses. There I find some sacks of rotten food. I take these sacks because the food will make good compost and the sacks might come in handy as well. Murphy's looking pretty rough, so I change into some fireman's gear. I'm still missing some of the skill books, so I take a ride to the school library and finish looting it. I finally decide to start working on my wall, so I cut down some trees and begin the build. Unfortunately, it gets too dark before I get much done, so I head inside and do some cooking. I jump back on it in the morning and begin making some good progress. When noon comes, I read Cooking Volume 4 and then do some cooking. After that, I finish off the day on my wall. The next day, I decide to take a break from the wall building and loot some more nearby houses. After putting away my loot, I give my garden a look, then jump right back onto the wall project to finish off the day. The next morning, I leave before sunrise to get an early start on looting some warehouses. On the way there, I loot this diner. Then, when looting the warehouses, I find an antique stove. I'll be able to set this up at my base, so I throw it in the back of the ambulance. I also find some seeds, a bunch of nails, and a watering can in the warehouses before heading back to base. I get all my loot put away, then I expand the size of my garden some more. While doing this, I notice my first harvest is ready, so I harvest the cabbages and replace them with some potatoes. I use my watering can to give everything some water for my rain catch. Then I take the time to build additional rain catches as well as another compost bin. I also build another bookcase since I'm in the mood for building. And with that, I've survived another episode. Please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions on where you'd like to see Murphy Wild travel to, just leave them in the comments below. See you next time.